Today I've ducked up TIFU by losing a tampon inside my body for 2 months. Throwaway for obvious reasons. On mobile, sorry for errors. Back in December around Christmas I went out and had a pretty wild night. I was on my period and that usually means my drinks hit me harder. I was pretty intoxicated by the time I got home. I had sex with my boyfriend and went to sleep. The next day I started thinking. I asked my guy if he remembered me taking out my tampon before sex. He thought so but wasn't sure. I thought nothing of it. I've never forgotten a tampon and I am almost 40. Over the next few weeks I start smelling weird and having weird discharge. My partner and I had begun having unprotected sex to completion regularly. I've only done this with one other partner before. I had a sort of allergy to his semen and developed bacterial vaginosis. BV smells bad and can give you weird discharge. I assumed this was what was happening with me and my boyfriend. That I must just be kinda allergic to semen and maybe shouldn't let my guy come inside of me. So we went back to using condoms. The symptoms persisted and I would occasionally wonder about that night in December. But I would know, right? Another period came and went. If there was something inside of me it would have come out by now, caused enough problems that I had to see a doctor. My symptoms were just a smelly vag and discharge. I thought it was BV. I started thinking I'll go to the doc soon. 2 nights ago I had severe pelvic pain and it freaked me out. But no insurance can make you put things off. Well, I got my period today. The second cycle since that night around Christmas. I went to the restroom to change my tampon and notice a weird feeling. I pull it out and 2 come out. It smelled like absolute death. I know it was from December because I was using a cheaper brand of tampons at the time that looked different. I am so embarrassed but at the same time relieved I didn't get TSS, and I know now why my body felt off. Ladies, trust your instincts if your insides stink. Please don't be mean. I'm embarrassed enough. I mainly made the post BC. I didn't see anything when searching for something like this. I am so embarrassed. Too long didn't read, got drunk and had sex. Tampon got lost. Found it 2 months later. Leave a tampon inside you for 2 months. What happens next might shock you. Wow, I'm happy you're okay and the tampon came out. An almost similar scenario happened to me a few years ago where I was having sex with my then boyfriend and once we finished we couldn't find the condom. We looked everywhere, except one place. Inside of me. I experienced terrible cramps for a couple weeks and didn't even consider or think about it. Like 3.5 weeks later I was peeing at work and the condom just fell out and also smelled like death. I was terrified but also relieved I was okay and the condom worked its way out. So crazy how our bodies work. Insane. Unfortunately had that experience when I lost my virginity, but found it the next day. TIFU by banging my first cousin. So, didn't happen today, but last weekend. Finally getting around to really processing it all and I guess trying to deal with it. Went out for drinks with my girlfriend and met up with my younger cousin at the bar. We'd all hung out once before and had a great time. My cousin invited a couple of her friends to the bar too. We did some bar hopping. I got shit-faced pretty unintentionally. The last bar was, I swear, not putting any mixers in my cocktails. They were straight alcohol. So anyway we're about to leave and my cousin's friends are trying to get her home because she's shit-faced too. Well, my GF was our DD so we offered to let her stay in our spare room. Everyone was cool with that because who's safer than family, right? Wrong. We get home and I had to piece together some of this later because I blacked out for most of it. Apparently initially everything was cool. My cousin went to the spare room and my GF got her situated. The problems started a little later when I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to walk straight out of my bedroom with my girlfriend in it and into my cousin's room. I don't particularly remember much except for 2 details which I guess are not important to the story. Well, okay, so one might be, I remember her giving me a very enthusiastic BJ, which, as you can imagine, makes a lot of noise. Apparently after a while my GF came out of the room wondering where I was because I just ducking disappeared. She didn't barge into the room or anything, but she heard the noises which is pretty ducking obvious. So at that point, she left. Like me. She left me, and I don't blame her. Anyway, that means I wake up the next morning, having blacked out, oblivious that my GF was gone already. but I'm ducking naked next to my naked cousin. There's cum all over the bed where her face was. She didn't even sleep with a pillow. There's obviously no hiding this, but I'm still half drunk and I went to try to go sneak back into my room, which I found empty. So yeah, I haven't heard from my GF all week, and I'm sure we're done. And I don't blame her. All I can hope for now is that this shit doesn't get out to my family, because I would probably implode. No, my cousin and I are not going to start hooking up regularly. It's actually super awkward and she has hardly said a word to me either. Again, I don't blame her. Too long didn't read, drunkenly slept with my cousin. Ruined my relationship. Family might hear about it. I'm an idiot. Usually in TIFU stories there is some shred of a defense explaining away what happened, but not this time. There was cum everywhere, like where her face was. Yeah bruv. Edited. A cum chalk outline of some grisly murder. Jackson Pollock meets Keith Haring. That's a ducking got hair image. I just want you to know that. Just start saving up to move far away from anyone who ever knew you. If my family finds out, I probably will move. Maybe even out of the country. Seriously, I couldn't handle a family reunion. TIFU by giving pleasure. NSFW. This is my grossest story. Throwaway because gross. Ugh. Back in my M19 early days with my first sexually active GF, 19. I was a complete hornball, not even typical for a young guy. I was beating the meat in between any sexual intercourse I could get with her. I was relatively new to cunnilingus, but got the gist of it. One night she was sitting on my face, and my tongue was just ducking going to town. I was jamming it up in her pretty hard, but what comes next was disconcerting. Even when fully engaged as a horny ass kid, I felt what almost was like bone, or scraping against my tongue. GF's giving me a good quality face sit, so I'm still trying to enjoy her moans. But I keep feeling this. Is this a roll of toilet paper? The roll that holds the TP. I finally pull my face out and gently tell her in the dark. There's something in there. What? Well, pull it out. Me. You pull it out. It's in you. Please. She's visibly upset. So I reluctantly agree to reach in and pull whatever obfuscation is in her vagina. I reach in with tweezer fingers and get a hold of whatever it is, and pull it out. As I pull, I look away in horror. What is it? I say. Oh, it's my old tampon. Yes, the tampon from over a week ago. It's withered into a slimy U-shaped ball and is sitting on the floor. While relieved that it wasn't a demon spawn or something else, I was pretty ducking grossed out. So grossed that I only jacked off that night and didn't want sex. Man, I miss being 19. I am aware of my then problems with understanding the female body and understanding how this is possible. I stand by the grossness of this. However, too long didn't read. She sat on my face, and I tongued her week old tampon. Pulled it out myself. I don't know whether to laugh or absolutely recoil in disgust. How did she not get sick? Toxic shock syndrome is a very real risk with it being left in that long. As a female, that's ducking nasty as all hell. A week. TF. Bro, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.